Okay, we're talking about the hidden history of nutrition in health and science. These are all the famous researchers and scientists who basically have been erased, removed from the book. So right here is T. Colin Campbell. He wrote this landmark book, The China Study. He did a lot of research in protein, like let's say dairy protein, casein, and he found in rodents, if you just stopped all the animal protein, the cancers would stop growing. And he did this repeatedly. He found that if you fed them 20% soy or 20%, I think it was wheat or gluten or something, the cancers wouldn't grow. But I still think that's a little bit of an inaccurate, well, to the real world study, because we don't eat one type of plant protein. We eat a variety of them. Potentially they'll have complementary amino acid profiles to get completion, if you will, of all the amino acids in the relevant amounts for growth. And potentially that'll activate mTOR. But there's other reasons why meat will activate mTOR. Meat tends to be higher in iron. It's higher in fat, saturated fat as well. So it's more likely to have everything you would need to activate mTOR, mammalian target or rapamycin, to initiate the growth pathways and to accelerate the rate of cancer growth. And he found basically the more animal protein you feed an animal, the more rapidly it ages, the more rapidly it gets cancers and dies. So there's a lot of problems with high protein intake. Also, high protein intake is bad for the kidneys. So in longevity studies, caloric restriction gets the animals to live longer. But guess what? Protein restriction also gets the animals to live longer, and it's easier to protein restrict. You can even just restrict one amino acid, restrict methionine. All proteins have some of all the amino acids. It's just that plants tend to be relatively deficient in, methionine. Some of them are relatively deficient in leucine or lysine, for example. Okay, so anyways, China Study is a landmark book showing that avoiding animal protein seemed like a real smart thing to do if you had cancer. Okay, here was another good book, Proteinaholic by Garth Davis. Garth Davis, he's a smart guy. This was a very good book. He's a bariatric surgeon who became fat. He had IBS, and then he studied nutrition, became a vegan, initially kind of in the low-fat vegan school, but he later on, in my opinion, became a promoter of olive oil, which I disagree with. He talked about how you eat high animal protein or high protein diets, you end up with metabolic acidosis, and you don't want metabolic acidosis. That's thought to favor tumor growth, so not good. The high fat diets also will suppress the immune system. Sat fat's associated with increased risk of leaky gut. Then you got leaky gut, you got leaky blood-brain barrier, you got amyloid clotting in the blood, you got activation of your neutrophils to release myeloperoxidase to collapse the glycocalyx, so that's going to be prothrombotic. It's going to increase the risk of metastatic disease. Dairy products increase the risk of prostate cancer. So does omega-3 supplements. Okay. He said the more carbs you eat, the less inflammation you have. The more fat you eat, the more inflammation you have, the more hypertension. You overcome the zeta potential. You get more elevation of insulin-like growth factor, which is, favors the growth of cancer. You don't want that. Okay, what's the purpose of milk, a dairy? To make a cow grow like 600 pounds in a year, okay? It's made to accelerate growth. Said that vegan men have higher testosterone levels than vegetarians. And a big part of that is because they're skinnier. So fat's going to have aromatase enzyme in it to convert testosterone to estrogen. Methionine tends to be high in all these animal foods, but can also be relatively high in seeds and nuts. Seeds and nuts are pretty overrated. The high-fat phonies really promote a lot. They're super high in fat. They're also high in advanced glycation products, and here you can see they're high in methionine. I think fruits are a very good food. Starch are better, but fruits are a good food. All right, well, anyways, that's it for today. And the whole point of this book is all these people who've done the big stuff, T. Colin Campbell, Campbell Esselstyn, John McDougall, Walter Kempner, Nathan Pritikin, not a single one of them is in the books. Not a single one of them is in the medical books. So basically, all the real pioneers who figured out how to cure people, they're not in the medical textbooks. And this has been going on for years. 100 years ago, J. Shirley Sweeney showed that high-fat diets cause diabetes in medical students. He's not in the books. Nor is Hemsworth, Rabinowitz, none of these guys. Gerald Shellman, myself, Royce Wank, none of them. Stanchik, you name it, Ornish, none of them are in the medical books. Not a single one of them. Conventional doctors have never heard of them at all.